This is going to be the most difficult video I've done. It's one thing to dunk on pseudo-intellectuals or to condemn capitalist apologists. This is going to be very different. In the time I spent at the Toronto anti-lockdown protest, I met regular people. People exactly like my neighbors, friends, and loved ones. In many ways, my heart is with them. This experience sucks, very badly, and I too wish it could be over.
Eat the bugs! Live in the pod! Eat the bugs!
I own nothing, and I'm happy.
Woo!
Given the complex nature of COVID politics, I think it's only fair to be upfront about my own position. We have never actually experienced a real lockdown. Ford and Trudeau have created restrictions, but we have never broken the spread cycle. People leave their homes, get on the TTC, work with others, get on the TTC, and go home. This is obviously how the virus is spreading. What we need is an actual lockdown. Ford and Trudeau have attempted to compromise to the capitalist class and keep us half open and half closed. Because we've called what we've been doing a lockdown, however, it's drawn this experience out far longer than it needed to be, while also being a complete failure. The majority of Ontarians blame the Ford administration for the third wave. These protesters are tired of it. They want it to be over. It's hard to blame them.
If you don't have your health and you don't have your freedom, you have nothing.
In many ways, this is a venue for people to find catharsis that is being denied to them. Because of the complete failure of both the media, who, as always, is nowhere to be seen, and a political class which has prioritized capitalism over human lives, these people have completely lost the faith. They don't believe anything they're being told by anyone. In these circumstances, people turn to alternative explanations.
The fact that the virus has never been isolated, period. They have never isolated in the everyday sense of separating two things, the way you and I understand isolation.
This is Matthew, a genuine young man who brings the sound equipment, and so ends up being a kind of impromptu leader. His explanation revolves around a central thesis. The virus doesn't exist. This is all being done to increase the control of the elites. He knows this is the truth because he requested the government for evidence of the virus and received nothing. The most reasonable explanation is that it's unlikely an anti-science administration would willingly give out intellectual property it could sell, or is owned already by corporate interests. It's very unlikely that this government wants to let people know anything about COVID, seeing as Ford has, for a year, downplayed its significance in a devil's bargain between public health and corporate power. What's clear is that the movement lacks a genuine critique of the capitalist system they have always been ruled by. The lockdown, in their view, exists as a control mechanism by the rulers, when the far more depressing truth is that the restrictions that currently exist were a facade to placate the populace into believing the rulers were interested in public health, when they are not. People within the movement are focused on the lockdown as a control mechanism and seem genuinely unaware that the capitalist system is itself the control mechanism. While the movement itself is not defined by anti-vaccination, they are present. Because capitalism has failed to administer the vaccine to the poorest of us, because the poor can't afford it, it will fail. The variants are already appearing in our ICUs. This failure will only embolden the anti-vax movement and force our political class to continuously lengthen the time we live with restrictions. This is a bubbling cauldron that can spill over. We are not genuinely talking to each other about what is happening because our media refuses to confront the core of why we are losing the war against COVID. The capitalists will always choose their profits over our lives. They will always choose to maintain the death cycle. They will never choose to break it. How do we put this genie back into the bottle? Our political class has lost all credibility. We desperately need an actual lockdown, but how do you communicate this to a group which has grown so mistrustful of any and all authority? Given the overt corruption of our leadership, can we blame them? We are choosing the long, hard road. My only hope is that the people I spoke with today, who seem genuinely concerned, genuinely kind, and genuine in their desire to uncover truth, will listen. A lockdown is not your enemy. You've never actually experienced a lockdown. The corrupt leaders you despise just told you it was a lockdown. If we had done a lockdown in the first place, we already would be through this. Instead, our capitalist owners have kept us at work, kept us on transit, and kept spreading COVID around. Maybe we'll get lucky. At least these people realize they've been scammed. They just don't quite know how the scam works yet. My heart goes to them and their core desire for this to be over. The truth is that it isn't, and it won't be, for a long time yet. Near as I can tell, the best thing to do, if you disagree with them, is to go. They let anyone speak into this mic. They don't care if you wear a mask. It's the only solution I can find to this demonic capitalist predicament. I'm the Canadian Commie. If you've made it here, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Capitalists spend billions of dollars to gaslight us and to lie to us. If having us fight along lockdown lines will keep us from overthrowing them, they will do it. Under these circumstances, you are doing wonderfully. You are making good decisions for yourself and for the people around you. You are a divine being standing on divine energy, and we could use some of it right now. Good luck. We're gonna need it.